Years ago, we were using sun pickups on the front of our combines. We were running 2 combines in the field. I was on the last one coming down the last windrow, and the other one had already moved. The truck had went home. I was coming down alone on the last windrow in the center of the field. Finished up, idled the combine back a little bit, and I walked up. It was an older style combine and an older style pickup. The combine wouldn't quite lift the pickup right off the ground like the new ones do. So I would have to go off and lift the wheels down on the pickup so it would run down the road without dragging the teeth. So I idled the combine down. The mistake I made was left it running. I walked up to pull the lever on the old Sun pickup to lower the wheels. As I grabbed the lever, the drive shaft coming from the end of the table to the pickup grabbed me behind the kneecap and wrapped my pants up and threw me on top of the fingers of the auger. And I was able to wedge my arms underneath the auger and hold the fingers. So it stopped. When I stopped the auger, it stopped the pickup from winding up my leg. And my hat went through the machine, but I was able to hold on to the retractable teeth in the auger, and I had no choice but to hang on and hang on. And it would slip and go a couple of turns through my arms once in a while when they got tired, and each time it did, it wrapped up tighter on my leg. I could see my leg was turning blue. I knew I was in difficulty. I didn't know if the skin was wrapped up or it was just pinching my leg. But I reached in my pocket knife. I had held that auger long enough that the slip clutch started to wear. And I could hold it eventually, probably the most determination I've ever used. I could hold it eventually with one hand, wedged underneath the auger, underneath the teeth, after the slip clutch wore its jaws off so it wasn't rattling so much. And I reached in my pocket for my pocket knife thinking I could cut my pants off on that leg. And I only had a nail. My knife wasn't there. So I pulled out a nail and I could start sawing on my pants just between my knee and thigh. And I sawed on there till I got slowly I was taking flesh and coveralls and pants, and I got a notch about 6 inches or cut along the top of my pants. My arm slipped off the teeth and it wrapped up and ripped my pants, because I had it started, ripped my pants off. And I walked out of there after holding that auger probably for more than an hour or hour and a half till the jaws wore off the pickup teeth. And when I got out and looked at my leg, I could see my leg wasn't torn, but my foot was very blue and black. And I rubbed it till I got some circulation, drove my combine home and walked in the house. He took me to the hospital and they massaged my leg and got the blood circulation going. And I come home and resulted with a knee infection in a few days, but I didn't miss many days on the combine. I think that was a very, very fortunate experience.
We are all bound by physical laws. Here's one you should be aware of when thinking about crushing hazards: stored energy. Energy confined and waiting to be released is called stored energy. Many farm machines store energy so it can be used at the right time in the right way. If energy is released unexpectedly, it can cause injury.
We were cleaning up in the yard and just lifting old motors up onto a trailer, and I was on a pallet with the motors on the forklift, and we were pushing them off. I was pushing them off the pallet, and for some reason, I don't know how, but I had my hand on top of the mast and to brace myself, and I pushed the motor off of my foot, and the ram must have leaked some oil, and when the weight came off, the frame of the hoist came back and dropped 2 inches and nipped my finger off. So I thought I just got, you know how you get a pinch or something, you jam your finger in the door or someone pinches you, just like, ow, you know, and the reflex just pulled back, and then it was like, oh, colorful words, my finger's gone. Don't trust them. You know, even though they say it doesn't leak, it could leak. and you don't see it. So it dropped 2 inches on me, and that was in the space of lifting it up, and I'd say probably 10 minutes saved by the time we picked the motor up and lifted it up, carried it to the trailer. 10 minutes, lost enough oil to drop it 2 inches. I grew up on a farm, so I'm used to blood, but when it's your own, it's something a little different. Just don't be putting your hands where you think you should, and just don't trust the hydraulics. Like even walking under a hoist or something like that, you go, it may be faster to go underneath, but walk around it, give it some room, because it just takes a split second and you can't move faster than that comes down. And no warning, exactly. There's absolutely no warning when it comes. So, I try and keep the guys from doing silly stuff now, because I can see they're gonna cut under. I'm like, no, don't walk around. Because after that experience, it makes me pretty wary. Even though it's probably safe, unless there's a ram lock on it, then I'll go underneath. But if there's no way of putting ram locks on them, I take a long way around. It takes 2 seconds longer.
Springs store energy in tension. When you remove any device from a compressed spring, the stored energy can be released. Know which direction the spring will move and which direction it will move other components. Make sure you or a coworker is never in the path of a compressed spring or other component attached to a spring. In a hydraulic system, fluid is stored under very high pressures, often higher than 2,500 psi. Because the stored energy in a hydraulic system has no visible motion, operators sometimes do not recognize its potential hazard. A leak or break in a hydraulic hose can cause a sudden release of stored energy. Never put yourself in a position where this type of release would result in an injury. Lower or lock any moving part that would be a hazard if a release of hydraulic fluid occurred. Servicing and adjusting systems under pressure can be hazardous, as you can be injured by high-pressure spray, high heat, and by the part you're adjusting or repairing. Before attempting to service or adjust any system with stored hydraulic energy, lower implement to the ground or onto a solid support. Shut off the engine that powers the hydraulic pump. Move hydraulic control lever back and forth several times to relieve the pressure. Follow instructions in Operator's Manual. Specific procedures for servicing specific hydraulic systems are very important to operator safety. Living on a farm or ranch in Alberta means there's a good chance that there are oil and gas installations near or on your property. These can be dangerous areas. The moving parts of any oil or gas facility can be crushing hazards. There may also be toxic gases, fire, electrical, and explosive hazards associated with these installations. Playing on or attempting to ride on pump jacks is extremely dangerous. Even if they're shut off and not working, they can be started or stopped instantly with no warning by remote control, so stay away. As has been shown, there are many crushing risks on a working farm. Information, experience, planning, and preparation are needed to manage these hazardous situations and keep our frail human body safe.